video lecture we are going to learn a unit number 5 of the subject Principle of Economics. The unit is money. In this video lecture we are going to cover money, the meaning of money, function and types, monetary policy, its meaning, objective and tools, then fiscal policy, its meaning, objective and tools, after that banking, meaning, types and function of banking, and lastly central bank, RBI, its function and concept. Now, what is money? Money is important for economy. The term money is derived from the Latin word moneta, means acceptable medium of transfer. Money is an economic good that acts as a medium of exchange in transaction. Anything that is generally acceptable as means of exchange and at the same time act as a measure and a store of value, that is called money. Money is a liquid wealth. Ideal money has three important characteristics. First is it acts as a medium of exchange. Second, it is an economic good. Next one, it is a measure of economic calculation. Here we can say one sheep is equal to one donkey. Here are some characteristics of money. Money is durable. First is durability. It can be used over and over again and again. We can use money many times. Next is portability. People can take money with them from one place to another place easily. People can transfer money one place to another place. Third one is divisibility. Money must be easily divided into smaller dimensions. For example, rupees and paisa. Right? Next is uniformity. Money must be uniform all over the country. Limited supply means the money supply must be kept limited. Means someone controls the supply. Means some central authority must be there. Next is acceptability. Everyone in economy must be able to exchange money for goods and services. Next is recognizable, means it should be easily identified, easily measurable or easily we can differentiate. Now main function of money. The first is it is a medium of exchange. The second one, it's measure a value. Next, it's standards of measure. And last one is store of value. Now we will see in detail. First is medium of exchange. Money is a common thing which can be used to buy any physical goods or intangible services. Using money we can buy a car, or using money we can make a recharge in a mobile phone and access of internet services. The liquid form of money can be translated to many forms of illiquid assets for long-term use like household or short-term use like lunch. Next is measure of value. Money works as a common currency in which value of all goods and services are expressed. Money helps in calculating relative price of goods and services. Due to these reasons, it is considered as a unit of account. Money is also used as a unit of account, the unit by which we can measure the value of particular things. Just as we measure the weight in kgs, we measure the value in money. Here in a figure, we can see maximum price MRP is 10 rupees for 30 grams. Here rupees is the unit of account in India. Pound is in England. Next is standard of deferred payment. It is the unit in which loans and future contracts are fixed. Without money, there would be no common basis for dealing in banks, insurance companies, societies, By providing a standard for payment, money makes borrowing and lending much easier. Next is store of value. Money provides liquid store of value because it is so easy to spend and easy to store. By acting as a store of value, money provides security to the people in emergencies. If an item can be held and converted into money in future without decreasing its value, it is considered as a good store of value. We can save money. Different types of money: metallic money, paper money, plastic money, then narrow money, wide money, and legal money, then optional money, after that cash money and accurate system. Next is metallic money. It is also known as coin. It made from some metals. They are generally smaller unit of currency like 1 rupees, 2 rupees, 10 rupees, 5 rupees coin, 50 paisa coins. Okay, you can see in a figure different coins we are using in a real life. Next is paper money. It is also known as currency note. It is printed on special paper. It represents the most liquid movable property which is used in a instant payment mechanism. As we can see paper money in a figure. Next, plastic money. They are also known as cards. They are issued by the recognized and approved institute by the Central Bank of country. Plastic money are credit card, debit card, traveling cards, etc. Next is narrow money. It represents a coin and currency introduced by central bank in economy for facilitating the exchange of value as the payment to the holder promised by governor of RBI on behalf of President of India. It is known as legal money. The citizen have to accept this money, otherwise it will be a crime. Next is wide money. It is also known as broad money, credit money. It includes fixed deposit, credit notes, demand draft, etc. as we can see in a figure. The credit money is created by banking system on the basis of floating currency used in payment system. It is monitored by central bank through the instrument of bank rate. Next is legal money. The coin and currency introduced by economy by the central bank are a legal money. As we can see, notes and coins. It is also known legal tender or legal currency. Next is optional money. It is issued by reputed individual and institution. For example, check, pay order, bill or exchange. Next is cash system. Under the cash system of accounting, the receipts and payments are made with the use of coins and currency. Next is accrual system. The monetary consideration are also accounted as a income and expressed for asserting accounting profit, even if they are not received in cash. The non-cash income are income accrued but not received, while non-cash expense are accrued expense not paid in cash. Next is introduction to monetary policy. The monetary policy is a process by which monetary authority of a country, for example central bank, controls the supply of money in economy by its control over interest rate. In India, RBI forms monetary policy. Objective of monetary policies are: first, price stability; second, exchange rate stability; third, high economic growth; fourth, controlled expansion of bank credit; fifth, promotion of fixed investment; sixth, to promotion efficiency; seven, reducing the rigidity. Next is price stability. It means maintaining the purchasing power of money across the time. The cyclical fluctuation of booms and depression affects all the stakeholders in the economy, some with positive efforts and some with negative effects. The price stability results into smooth economic activity with its careful impact on stakeholders. The price stability promotes income generation, saving, investment and employment. For example, the price is Parle-G biscuit in 2018 was 5 rupees and the price is same in 2000 same 5 rupees. Next is exchange rate stability. The exchange rate is the dual rate between two trading nations having a different currency. For example, India versus US. India has a rupees and US has dollar in dollar currency. RBI has to manage the money supply in such strategic manner that the external value of rupees is stabilized over a period of time. When rupees is still at the base, then Indian importer will be in gainer and Indian exporter will be loser. The situation is reversed when the rupees will trade in discount. The rupees will decrease. Next is high economic growth. An increase in the capacity of the economy to produce goods and services compared from one period of time to another. Next is, it is measured in gross domestic product GDP or GDP per capita. Next is controlled expansion of bank credit. The controlled expansion of bank credit and money supply with special attention to seasonal requirement for a credit without affecting the output. For example, agricultural loan. Next is production of fixed investment. The aim here is to increase the productivity of investment by limiting productivity investment. For example, investment on a new production technique will increase while on defense will limit our investment. Next is to promote efficiency. It is very essential aspect where RBI pays a lot of attention. RBI tries to increase the efficiency in financial system and tries to incorporate structural changes such as deregulating interest rate, comfort operation constraint in credit delivery system, introduce a new monetary market instruments like treasury bill, certificates of deposit. Next is reducing rigidity. RBI brings flexibilities in corporate which provides a considerable independence. It encourages more competitive environment. It maintains its control over financial system whenever and wherever necessary to maintain the discipline and carefulness in operation of financial system. Next is tool of monetary policy. They are tools used to implement monetary policy can be classified into two categories: quantitative tools and qualitative tools. Quantitative tools, these are the revised every quarterly in India by RBI. The quantitative tools regulate the money supply using repo rate, reserve repo rate, bank rate, marginal standing facilities MSF, cash reserve ratio CRR, and statutory liquidity ratio, open market operation, market stabilization scheme. Next is repo rate. The fixed interest rate at which Reserve Bank provides overnight liquidity to banks against the surety of government and other approval securities under the liquidity adjustment facility. The current repo rate in India is 5.15%. Second one is reserve repo rate. The fixed interest rate at which the Reserve Bank absorbs the liquidity on an overnight basis from a bank against the surety of eligible government securities under LAF. The current reserve repo rate is 4.9. Next is MSF, Marginal Standing Facilities, a facility under which scheduled commercial bank can borrow additional amount of money from a RBI. Amount a bank can borrow is limited, and by reducing into their statutory liquidity ratio portfolio at a penal rate of interest, this provides a safety value against unexpected liquidity shock to banking system. Current MSF ratio is 5.4. Next is bank rate BR. It is the rate at which Reserve Bank is ready to buy or rediscount bill of exchange or other commercial paper loan. The current bank rate is 5.4%. Next is CRR, cash reserve rate. The average daily balance that a bank is required to maintain with Reserve Bank as a share of such percent of its net demanded and time liabilities. That balance may be notified from time to time by RBI in Gazettes of India. The current CRR is 4 in India. Next is SLR, Statutory Liquidity Ratio. The share of net demanded time liabilities that a bank is required to maintain in safe and liquid assets such as government securities, cash and loans. SLR ratio is 18.25 in India. Next is Market Stability Scheme. This tool for monetary measurement was introduced in 2004. Excess liquidity of a more stable nature arising from large capital inflow. It is absorbed through a sales of short-dated government securities and treasury bill. The cash so mobilized is held in a separate government account with the Reserve Bank. Next is quantitative tools. These tools are industry and segment specific, Hence, they are also known as selective credit control tools. First is credit rotation, second is margining requirement, next is credit returning. The credit returning refers to the situation where lender limits the supply of additional credit to borrowers who demanded funds, even if the borrowers are willing to pay higher interest rates. The careful decision about the use of any limited or important resources here. The resources allocation is generally done based on demand and supply. The bank credit is the critical national resources. It has to be used in a planned manner as per the planned objectives and specified by the government. Next is margin requirements. A margin requirement is a percentage of marginable securities that customer must to pay for a loan or credit. For example, a person wants to buy a house in 10 lakh rupees against a loan. Suppose bank give 8 lakh rupees only. 2 lakhs rupees buyer has to pay from his saving. Thus, marginal requirement in this example is 20%. It is also known as a safety against margin. Safety margin also depends on sectors. For example, it may be 0% in education or it may be 30% in real estate market. Next is fiscal policy. It is a policy in the means by which a government adjusts its spending level and tax rate to monitor and influence a nation's economy. The role of fiscal policy for economic growth relates to the stabilization of the rate of growth of a progressive country. Next, objective of fiscal policy. First is to accelerate the economic growth. Second, efficient allocation of financial resources. The third, employment generation. Fourth, price stability and control of inflation. Fifth, equality of income distribution and wealth. Sixth one is capital formation. Seventh, balance regional development. 8, increasing national income. 9, foreign exchange earning. First objective is to accelerate the economic growth. This objective can be achieved by efficient utilization of financial resources. It may provide various incentives such as tax concession to the entrepreneurs and MNCs for economic growth. For example, government provides a subsidy and a loan for a new MNCs. Second is efficient allocation of financial resources. The government always try to make efficient allocation of financial resources. These resources are allocated for development activities like railway, infrastructure, and non-development activities like subsidies, interest rate. Next objective is employment generation. The government is making every possible efforts to increase employment in a country through effective financial measures. For example, lower tax and duties on a small scale industries SSI units that encourage more investment and consequently generation more employment. Next is various employment programs have been undertaken by the Government of India to solve the problem of employability. For example, they introduced Mahatma Gandhi Manrega Yojana. Next is various self-employment scheme is launched to provide employment. For example, government give a stitching machine to a woman. Next is price stability and control of inflation. One of the main objectives of fiscal policy is to control inflation and stabilization in price. The government always aims to control the inflation by reducing a tax saving scheme and by producing productive use of financial resources. Next is equality of income distribution and wealth. Fiscal policy aims at achieving equality or social justice by reducing the income inequality among a different section of the people in a society. The direct tax such as the income tax are charged more on the rich people as compared to the lower income group. Indirect tax are also more in the case of semi-luxury and luxury items which are mostly consumed by upper middle class and upper class. For example, 20% GST on sunscreen lotion. Next is capital formation. The objective of fiscal policy in India is also to increase the rate of capital formation so as to accelerate the rate of economic growth. An underdevelopment country is trapped in a danger circle of poverty mainly on account of capital deficiency. In order to increase the rate of capital formation, the fiscal policy must be efficiently designed to encourage savings. Next is balanced regional development. And another main objective of fiscal policy is to bring out a balanced regional development. There are various incentives from the government for setting up the project in backward areas such as cash subsidy, concession in tax and duties, finance at lower interest rate. For example, relief in sell tax was announced for industry to recover economic activity in a Kutch district which was destroyed in earthquakes for some time of period. Next is increasing national income. The fiscal policy aims to increase the national income of a country. This is because of the fiscal policy facility is the capital formation. The result in economic growth which is turn increase the GDP, per capita income and national income of a country. Next is foreign exchange earnings. Fiscal policy attempts to encourage more export by way of fiscal measure like exception of income tax on export earning and exception of sales tax, etc. Foreign exchange provide fiscal benefits to import substitute industries. The foreign exchange earned by way export and saved by way of import substitute. It helps to solve balance of payment problems. Next topic is bank. The types of bank. Central bank and supreme monetary authorities. There are basic two types, scheduled bank and other financial institution. In scheduled bank, commercial bank and cooperative bank. In commercial bank, public sector bank, private sector bank, regional rural banks and a foreign banks. In cooperative banks, urban cooperative banks and a state cooperative banks. Let us discuss in detail. First is scheduled bank. A scheduled bank in India refers to a bank which is listed in second schedule of Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. Scheduled bank is a banking corporation whose minimum paid up of capital is 5 lakhs and It does not harm the interest of the depositor. Its CRR ratio is maintained with RBI, and scheduled banks are allowed to borrow money from RBI for regulating bank purpose. The first is public sector bank. The public sector banks are owned and operated by government. The government owns majority of equity share capitals, and their shares are listed the Organized Stock Exchange of India. The main objective of public sector bank are plan economic development and serve a public rather than to earn a profit. Currently, 27 banks are working in India, out of which 21 are nationalized bank and 6 banks are State Bank of India and it is associated banks. For example, BOB, SBI, Punjab National Bank, Canara Bank, Central Bank of India, Dena Bank and Indian Bank. Next is private sector banks. Private sector banks are owned and operated by private institutes. They are free to operate as per the market force, but they have to follow rules and regulation of banking specified by Reserve Bank of India. A greater share is held by private players and not by government. Currently, 30 private sector banks are working in India. For example, ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, etc. Next is Regional Rural Bank. These banks are restricted to operate only in the areas specified by the Government of India. These banks are owned by state government and sponsored bank. This sponsorship was to be done by nationalized bank and a state cooperative bank. For example, Saurashtra Gramin Bank, Baroda Gujarat Gramin Bank. Next is foreign banks. The foreign banks are registered or incorporate in their home country, not in India. They have several branches in India. Currently, 40 foreign banks are working in India. For example, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Citibank. These are the foreign banks. Next is scheduled cooperative banks. Cooperative banks are controlled, owned and managed and operated by cooperative society. Cooperative banks came into existence under Cooperative Societies Act 1912. These banks are located in urban as well as in a rural area. They have same functions as the commercial bank. They provide finance to farmers, salaries to people, small scale industries, etc. Currently, 52 urban and 16 state cooperative banks are working in India. For example, the Kalupur Commercial Cooperative Bank Limited and Rajkot Nagrik Sahkari Bank Limited. Now, function of bank: primary function, secondary function and additional function. Primary function: it accepts the acceptance of deposits in this saving account, current account, fixed deposit account, recurring deposits and advance of loans, overdraft and cash credits. Secondary functions are collection of money, payment of money, internet money transfer and e-banking, merchant banking, additional function of banks are locker, ATM services, credit card, debit card services, issue of letter of credits, issue of pay orders, portfolio management, dealing in foreign exchange, Central Bank. It is an institution that manages a country's currency, money supply and interest rate. It is also known as the Reserve Bank or a monetary authority. Central Bank also usually supervise and the commercial banking system of the respective country. RBI is India's central banking institution which controls the monetary policy of the Indian rupees. It was established in 1935. The central bank office is situated in Mumbai. The main person of RBI is called a governor. Function of RBI. It issues the currency of notes. Second, it bankers to governments. It is a banker's bank. It control of credits. It is not a profit-making institute. It manages the money policy, money supply to a country in economy. It maintains the exchange rate. It supply the money or credit controls. And many more functions RBI perform.